the line guitarist, Mickey Torres.
What's up, everybody?
And today we have a very, very special guest, writer, director, actor, producer, comic book creator, and the brilliant mind behind the smash hit series Vampires of New Jersey. Alton Simpson is here.
Hey, everybody. What's up? Good to be here.
All right, gentlemen, the task at hand today is upon us to supercharge the Superman franchise. Before we get to our takes on what we do with the Man of Steel, what do we love about Superman? How did this movie come into your lives? What's everyone's Superman story?
Who wants to go first? Can I go?
Yeah,
please. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I started collecting comics in '74, and I was Marvel and DC. I liked the competition between the both because one would always try to outdo the other. And I remember seeing the first posters in the movie theater for Superman the movie, and I just thought it was like kind of crazy. And they started making everything the movie from like after Star Wars came out. It was like Star Trek the movie, everything had a movie, but it didn't show anything. It didn't give anything away. It just had the symbol and like a lightning bolt going through it, and that intrigued me. And I just remember being in that audience when the movie first came out that first Friday. "You will believe a man can fly" was the tagline, and we did, and it was magical. I remember my mom taking me. I must have been 13, 12, something like that, and just an amazing time at the movie theater. Everybody in that theater was enthralled. We all loved it. We all believed it, and that was our Superman, Christopher Reeve. So I mean, we can debate who's come afterward, but he certainly set the bar high for everybody else,
Without a doubt.
Yeah, that's my iconic Superman moment, or the beginning of, my Superman experience.
Guys, when did the Man of Steel first touch your hearts?
So for me, it was actually, as far as the movie goes, it was Superman II, right? And not the Richard Donner cut, the original cut. And I can't remember the director of that, but this is the one that's been around for years.
Richard Lester.
Was it Lester? Yeah, Richard Lester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kneel Before Zod. All that's an HBO, of course. And I know for our fans out there, you always hear me talk about HBO. Well, that was my film library. But as far as Superman himself, this is interesting. My father had this collection of the original comic books, not the comic books himself, but this omnibus that came out that had color comics within the book. Like it was a reprint in the 70s that my father bought. And it was one of Superman and one of Batman. So,
I have those.
Do you have those?
Yeah,
oh, you're kidding.
I'm going to go get one. Hold on.
Oh my gosh. Yes. If it has a yellow cover for Batman and a red and blue cover. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all out there. This just made my day.
No, Alton's comic book knowledge runs deep.
Oh my gosh. But those books, I remember looking at those in my dad's library and just, and then connecting, that's the movie I watched. That's Christopher Reeve. That's Superman II. That's who this is in this omnibus there. So
all right.
That
was see my Batman, but and I don't have the original book cover.
That's the one. That's it. Oh,
nice.
There it is. Yes. And it was like, isn't it like one of the comics is in color and then the rest are black and white, and then there's others?
The first edition is color.
Yes, that's right.
I think most of the rest of it is, the rest of it's in black and white. But they're classic issues, like original Siegel and Schuster art.
Okay, are those worth
comics
anything?
Were in bookstores, and books about comics were in bookstores back then, and I used to hang out in bookstores, so that's how I ended up with this.
Oh man,
nice.
You're bringing back some memories there.
Yeah,
the
cover over this was really nice, though. I must have lost it through the years.
Wow.
I never remember the cover. I just remember that, and then the Batman one was black and yellow.
I have the Batman one somewhere too. It's not in my bookshelf.
So cool.
I know I have. It's probably my mom's house, actually.
Nice.
Now I just turned into an 8-year-old kid right now.
Sorry,
That's
You know, the more I hear you guys talk about that, the more I'm pretty sure my dad has that book or had
Yeah.
that book growing up, and I flipped through it. That wasn't my introduction though. My introduction was definitely VHS tapes, but that's you know, you're bringing back flashbacks from like B. Dalton booksellers right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mickey, what was your first experience with Superman?
Well, I mean, obviously, I saw the movies. I was younger when the movies came out, but you know, I loved the movies. And then the best memory I can have Superman, how I came into Superman, is actually two things. One, my mom used to date a guy, and she used to go to. He was a bus driver, and he would drive the bus all the way in Jersey, all the way up to New York, and everything else like that. So every Saturday, my mom would go with him and go take the trip or whatever. Sometimes I went with as well, but I would stay with my grandmother. And when she came home, she would always bring me a comic from New York Penn Station or whatever like that. So it's always like, you know, mostly DC. So because I guess it was the hottest ticket around at the time, or I don't know, maybe she just recognized those characters and was most familiar with that. So I can remember I have a lot of them still. Some of them got stolen from me, but a lot of Superman. So I just remember reading those comics and just loving that. And then my Superman Mego figure, the action figure, the original Superman action figure, which I promptly took to school for show and tell and promptly got stolen from me.
wow.
Yeah, they're popular.
Oh, the worst.
But that was, I mean, my love for these movies, man. I mean, the Christopher Reeve Superman, you know, movies have such a place in my heart. It's not even funny. So
Yeah. Well, we do have a little bit of action in the chat already. Our friend Laya Paris says, if Max Landis wasn't such a creep, I would have loved his Superman American Alien turned into a film. I remember Max Landis like doing a lot of interviews and having a lot of good ideas, and seeming like a smart person. And then he turned out to be a creep. So you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been a creep. Yeah, we agree there. I don't remember what the details were of his Superman pitch. So when we get to ours, be sure to hit us up in the chat if you remember some details about that. But I mean, you know, we've kind of talked about a little bit, you know, how Superman came into our lives. What was like, you know, kind of like the high point for you guys? Do you think like Superman on film wise? Do you think it was, you know, the early, you know, like Superman 1 or 2, or are you like a Quest for Peace fan and Superman 4, or you know, what was your favorite? Is it the later stuff, Henry Cavill?
Is anybody a fan of Quest for Peace, Chris? Come on now. Stop it.
Hey, I loved Quest for Peace
Stop
when I was a kid.
Well,
When I was a kid.
Wait! I'm gonna defend Quest for Peace. I will
All right,
say
that's it.
that
I'm out.
I will say
No.
that it is a shitty movie. It's not the greatest movie, but I will say that the story in the intro part and basically like maybe halfway through the movie was actually pretty good about how, you know, Superman can't be like a, you know, savior, this and that, and everything else like that. Just this conflict with that and everything else like that. But once it fell apart, once Nuclear Man was introduced. And then that's basically what killed the movie.
What,
so we
the
remember
Chippendale dancer villain. Yes, we know. Yes, we're all aware of that.
So that's where it fell apart. But I'm just saying.
Well, I read that the movie itself, you know, had trouble with financing, and they ran out of money pretty, you know, I don't know, halfway through the movie or 3/4 through the movie. So that played into, you know, a lot of it. But it's a typical example of what Hollywood used to do. They could never, they're always short-term thinkers. When I was a kid, instead of thinking we could do, you know, what Marvel has done, which is 20, 30 movies and each one make more money, they were like, well, when you do a sequel, you always spend less money on the sequel because you're going to make less money. Yeah. So that's why by the fourth of the early Planet of the Apes movies, you know, their masks are hanging off and they're flapping in the wind because Hollywood refused to spend money and also put quality in each production so that it does well on its own. They couldn't see it. So by the time you got the Quest for Peace, you know, the story was bankrupt. The script wasn't that good. You know, then they had to cut corners and change things. actually heard Christopher Reeve had to do some deal at the last minute to finish the movie by promising to do another movie for a studio. So
well, it's kind of that's true, but it's sort of actually the inverse. He had to promise to do Superman 4 to get them to make Street Smart. It was canon.
That's right.
And you know, thank God for that, actually, because I love Street Smart for one.
It's
and for
an unbelievable film.
It really is great, and it gave us Morgan Freeman. It like
put you can't believe the movies were so cheesy around that time. The Street Smart must have stood out like a diamond. And I only recently got to see the whole film. When it came out, I don't know what I was doing. I was in college and it was the 80s, so I was probably at a keg or somewhere. But you know, but now that I've seen it in retrospective, it's unbelievable that movie was so sharp and so right on the money for that time. It's really unbelievable. You know?
True.
But yeah, back to Soups. Yeah, I knew he had cut some deal. I didn't know. I forgot the specifics of it, but I knew it was, you know, it was just an idea that was falling apart. And you think Warner Brothers would have thought ahead. I mean, they ran to Batman in '89. You could have had a Superman Batman film in the 90s.
Oh,
if you'd have been thinking about it.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman. I mean, you really could have had a Justice League movie in the 90s.
Can you imagine a Chris Reeve and Michael Keaton?
That's what I mean.
Oh, it would be so
you would have totally had that.
And throw in Linda Carter.
Of course, yeah.
Totally would have had that. Christopher Reeve.
Linda Carter.
Yeah.
She still had a little magic, you know. She still does.
She could still play Wonder Woman. Linda Carter is amazing.
So a lot of movie making, or at least from the Hollywood, once you get to the top levels, loses imagination. They depend on people at the bottom for the imagination. They're only thinking about how to make a quick buck, and that screws up a lot of movies. I mean, all you guys know how many bad superhero movies have come down the pipe before we got to something good. I mean, it's almost like a desert after Superman, the movie, and then Batman. I mean, in that gap, they released a lot of movies. There were a lot of different things that came out, but they didn't stand the test of time. They didn't stick because.
Oh my gosh! Have you guys seen the '90s Captain America?
Yes.
You know the straight
to video. 1990. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Ronnie Cox. With Ronnie Cox as the president, man. Fucking, I love that movie.
Yeah. Hey, but what about like tying this into Superman? What about the Shaquille O'Neal Steel movie?
That's another one.
You mean the one with Sinbad? No, come on.
Now I met Sinbad. Man. Sinbad played my college in 1983 before he was a big star up in upstate Pennsylvania. I went to University of Pittsburgh campus in Bradford, and I was a freshman. And they always bring in a comedian the first week because we're all nervous. And Sinbad was the comedian, and he actually was a really nice guy.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't have anything bad to say about Sinbad.
Nobody better have anything bad to say about Sinbad. That man's amazing.
Absolutely, I absolutely love Sinbad.
Again, with Hollywood, it's the inverse of what Donner wanted to do. Donner wanted to create something by casting a relative unknown like Christopher Reeve and create something. Hollywood usually goes and gets the star and jams them into it. So it wasn't Steel. It was Shaquille O'Neal as Steel. And that may or may not work depending on how you cast it and how it's written.
Oh, Alton, you say that, and all I can think of is those images of Nick Cage as Superman that we've all seen. You know, the long hair.
For the Superman Lives.
I wish that movie had been a thing. I honestly do. It would have been so and amazing and weird, and you know.
I would have liked to have seen what Tim Burton could do with Superman. And say what you will about Cage. Cage is a good actor in there somewhere. You wouldn't know about his movies.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing. I always say this about that. Yeah. Cage has it in the eyes. He'll make you believe, one, that he's an alien, and two, that he's a Boy Scout, that he would absolutely do anything. You know, he would fly to Mars and back to get a cat out of a tree. Because I say that is because that movie, It Could Happen to You, where he gives the waitress the $2 million tip from the lottery ticket, and you absolutely believe it. And there's something about him, like, you know, that role to me is like the way American Psycho. I can see Batman, you know, Bale's Batman, you know, before it happened. I feel like you could see Nick Cage's Superman, and it could happen to you. He's got a heart of gold, you know, he's, you know, he's an honest guy, a decent guy, still risks his life after winning the lottery when there's the you know, the grocery store robbery. Great. So I don't want to neglect the chat. The chat is growing crazy a little bit right now. Lia Paris again says American Alien was the story of Clark Kent, a bunch of stories of him before being Superman, him being a delinquent teen, him starting out as a reporter. That's kind of interesting. So it's a little bit like the Superboy show from the early 90s,
Yeah.
which
Small,
I did love.
That's another good one.
Smallville. Yeah.
And
like
Twyan Lannister also says Quest for Peace was Cannon's chance to make it big, but Menahem Golan couldn't stop himself, or couldn't help himself rather, which is also true. The Quest for Peace did break from Cannon's model. They used to spend $1 million per movie, and then they got in bed with Stallone and they got their hands on Superman. They're like, we need to make big, expensive movies like the big studios, and that's what killed them. It Masters the Universe too. And I think Over the Top, Masters the Universe, and then Superman 4 was like the final nail in the coffin.
Can I correct something wrong in this world? Just real quick.
Yeah.
We've all seen Masters of the Universe. Is that not the biggest ripoff of the Superman theme by John Williams, the Masters of the Universe theme? I always thought somebody was gonna sue somebody somewhere.
Wasn't it Bill Conti who did the Masters of the Universe theme?
Oh yeah, it is, but it's totally Superman the movie, John Williams score.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to listen to it again, but
it's great. It's that Vanilla Ice versus Queen kind of thing. It's like a couple of notes switched here and there, but it's flat out.
But something, as much. Oh, I'm sorry, Mickey. What were you gonna say?
No. I think like going back to what we were saying about like what movie was the movie that kind of like that you think of and everything else like that is like Superman 2 for me of all the Superman movies will always be the top.
Right. Yeah, I would say.
Oh,
go ahead.
Alden. No, go ahead.
Donner shot probably 50 to 60% of Superman 2 when he shot Superman 1. So a lot of it is his like vision, but then when Lester came in, he put his own, twist on it, and it worked, as opposed to what happened with Justice League with Snyder and who's the director? The guy that did Avengers.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like a mix that could never possibly work. But Richard Donner as a foundation where Lester putting it on top seemed to really work. And Superman 2 for me is like definitive. I would challenge you to find a scene that didn't work. Some movies have every scene that works. Every scene forwards the narrative. Every scene's exciting. It's well cast. It's well, lit or special effect wise. So I think that's as good as movies can get at that time for what you could do there.
That's fair. I would say, and I as a kid that was like my favorite one. I think Superman 2. And I think a big part of that, as I got older, the Richard Lester thing did really bother me because I feel like Richard Donner was kind of robbed. And he's just an underappreciated director in general. The guy's a legend. Goonies, the Superman, Maverick, Lethal Weapon,
The Omen.
The Omen.
Oh
exactly.
Exactly.
For days, Richard Donner's
a
legend.
Danger Island, if anybody remembers that, it was a 2-minute short on the Banana Splits in 1969.
That's a deep cut right there.
Well, I used to watch that when I was 4 or 5, and later on I was like, well, these were like exciting. They're on an island, and there's this character called Jungo that's kind of crazy running around, and it's people fighting, and they're constantly chased by pirates and almost getting killed. I'm like, who directed this? And I saw that Donner directed.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. And it was it was a show within a show. So you'd watch the Banana Splits, and then there'd be a 2 to 3 minute clip, piece of Danger Island. And that was Donner. So he also did some Columbo too.
Everyone did Columbo back then. Spielberg did Columbo.
Columbo was the Law and Order of that day.
Yes, it was.
One more thing.
It was a better time.
He also did the Shatner episode Twilight Zone, the man on the wing of the plane.
Really?
Yeah, that was Donner. Wow. Yeah, Donner actually directed that.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Really?
So you got to give him props.
Oh, that was one of the scariest things
yeah.
ever when I was a kid.
Those are iconic.
I do have to touch on the chat again because it's blown up yet again. But I do also want to say that part of the thing with Superman 2 for me was Terrence Stamp. I think he deserves a lot of credit.
Yes.
General Zod. I mean, like again, there's a reason why people wear shirts, you know, of General Zod, and they don't really wear shirts of Lex Luthor. And I'm not bashing Gene Hackman or Kevin Spacey or anyone. Well, fuck Kevin Spacey, but
Ah,
Neil
You know what I
before
mean?
Zod.
yeah, you
You're
kneel
right.
before
Before
Zod,
Zod.
you know.
yeah.
No one wants to fucking kneel before Kevin Spacey. Oh my god, I had to say that.
Ah.
I had to.
The jokes write
Fucking,
themselves.
fucking creep. But anyway,
Well,
the chat.
They did.
Yeah. We're going to hell. We're terrible human beings. I'm sorry. Just me. I'm a terrible human being.
I'm going with you.
So,
Hell Express.
so who else is up here? Elia Paris says my intro to Superman was this old pop-up book. It had a yellow cover and featured like the old Superman. Maybe that's not it's a pop-up book. I never saw that. Gold's Code says I'm just here for the movie mashups. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
He
they're
also
great.
I actually remember that pop-up book.
Really?
Really? Wow.
I think I remember that. I think I had that pop-up book.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
Was it cool
Gold-
or what?
I just remember like getting it from like a 5 and dime kind of store, like
Yeah.
some little store, and I just remember like it being cool for the time.
Yeah.
But like, I obviously don't have it anymore. So
Those are the
Yeah.
best finds. Those are always the best finds. It's always at Mon Pa, right? You always find that
Yeah.
one VHS. You find that one comic
Oh,
book
yeah.
that you
Oh, yeah.
never.
There's one thing I bought in 1979 I might want to show you guys. I hate to bring out all my old geek stuff.
No, please do.
Let me grab it. It's
Yeah.
I have it in my book, my magic
Yeah,
bookshelf.
yeah.
Hold on.
Yes,
There you go.
absolutely. And while he's
I
doing
will say-
that, I will
I will
catch
say-
up. I was gonna catch up on the. I'll catch up on the chat real
Yeah.
quick if that's cool. Just
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
so I don't
absolutely,
get
Chris.
too much further behind. Gold's Code also says Superman. She's the man of steel. I could endorse such a thing. Yeah, look out for that. Eric Ridgway says Shaq never works in anything. He figured out acting about as much as his free throw. Well,
It's free. It's free throws.
Eric, of course,
yeah, you know, he
Eric
shot better
Ridgway.
free throws for Phil Jackson and the Lakers back in the day before Phil Jackson
Oh.
before he
Got it
tanked in
fouled.
New York. Yeah.
Way to go, Ridgeway. Way to go.
So, and Retro Fiend Radio says, "How dare you, Ian? Quest for Peace is a canon classic. Captain America too. I got your back, Retro Fiend.
You come after me.
I'll tell you what.
You come after me one more time out there. All right. You've seen the movie. You know what it is. Knock it off. All right.
In defense of Retro Fiend Radio, who, by the way, has a new doc on the amazing fight choreographer Stephen Lambert. But in defense of Retro Fiend Radio and of canon, I dare you to tell me Superman 3 is a better film than Superman 4. Superman 3 had all that Warner's money in the world, and they made
Chris,
a Richard Pryor comedy.
2
not a
words.
Superman movie.
Chris,
Richard Pryor.
you
Prior to make the
promised.
movie.
You
Yep.
promised, Chris, you wouldn't bring up Superman. I. We promised we wouldn't talk about it. Knock it off.
You
all right?
don't get to Cryer without Richard Pryor. If
Yeah.
you want John
Oh.
Pryor, you got to talk about Richard Pryor and what
That's
happened,
right.
you know.
Mhm.
And
There are
thank
two.
God we got,
There are two Superman movies. That's it. All right.
thank God we got like Lenny Luthor or whatever he was. But I'm with you. I'm with you, Retro Fiend. Superman IV is a classic. Gold's Code also says, in my country, Masters Universe is called the Mr. Strickland movie. We love authority and taking out the trash. That is awesome. I met Mr. Strickland. He is a very kind man. Retro Fiend says Donner did nearly 20 years of TV before The Omen. Wow, that is wild. I didn't know that. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah, did the pilot for Wild Wild West, which is probably one of the greatest Western TV mashups ever.
I got the box set.
Oh yeah, he did the first pilot, and he loved doing it. I remember I listened to a
Yeah.
podcast with him, and he talked about he wanted to do it because it was he was tired of all these westerns. He
Yeah,
directed a
definitely,
bunch of them, and he was like, "Look, do something different." And it's
Yeah.
here it is. James Bond in the West. Okay, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's
Great.
very serious.
Yeah.
Oh man. So unfortunately we never got the Superman V that we wanted. Another Christopher Reeve canon Superman with the return of Nuclear Man that we all wanted. The quest for inner peace.
Can I say something controversial? And
Please.
people out there might get me on this one, but I think one of the most interesting Superman movies is not really even a Superman movie. It's actually Hollywoodland, which talks about the
Yeah.
idea the idea of the Steve Reeves murder, and what I remember the most out of it was that moment where the kids come up to Steve Reeves and actually point.
George Reeves, yeah.
George Reeves. I'm sorry, not Steve Reeves. Sorry, it's not a Hercules movie. My bad.
Okay.
But yeah, George Reeves, and when the kid actually, and this really happened, when the kid points a real gun at George Reeves, and George Reeves had to talk the kid down.
Yeah.
Because of the Superman was the first TV show that kids really saw this invincible person and just that skew of reality. I mean, it was such a fascinating film. And again, it doesn't relate to, any of the Superman movies, but, in and itself, you could, if you're a Superman fan, I think you absolutely need to see that movie.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
Back to Affleck again.
Yeah, Ben Affleck as
exactly.
Superman, before he was Batman. Yeah, absolutely.
Got to play both, kind of. Nice.
So I guess we can't get to what we would do today before we talk about what was done recently. Obviously there was Superman Returns. I myself not a big fan of that one.
I love Brandon Routh.
The Snyderverse. I like Brandon Routh. I don't know.
Well cast.
I don't know if he was a little wooden for me. But I think that could have also been the writing and the directing and the role and stuff. So
I think it was.
I don't know how much he had to work with.
Superman Returns was like the emo Superman. It was just like it was so of that era. Everything was like, emo, and everything was all like depressing and stuff like that.
He's
and to me,
he's a deadbeat dad now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He cries at one point
what?
in the movie. I'm like, Superman cries? I'm like, but like, I don't know. That movie just whatever. I mean, I will say that, notwithstanding the recent allegations and all that stuff that's come out, and everything like that, I did think that Kevin Spacey was a pretty good Lex Luthor.
Yeah. I think they relied on his ability to ad lib too much. Either that or the script was flaccid. I mean, for all the greatness you had there, you could have done more. You know what I mean? And better. So
that connection to Superman II that nobody really got was kind of that was different. Yeah. I remember it's kind of like you had to watch. You're supposed to watch the Donner cut before you watch that movie, but nobody had seen it. It was just, to me, that was weird. Yeah.
To me, the only word in Hollywood dirtier than CGI is retcon. I hate when they retcon shit, when they're like, yeah, this is a sequel to 1 and 4, but we're going to pretend that 2, 3, and 7, 8, 9 never happened. Like, no, I don't want to have to do fucking long division before I figure out what is like going on with this movie. We've seen all these movies, respect the fact that we've seen them all, and we're the ones who are paying for it, and make them all canonical.
Right.
And give us a Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis and Danielle Harris, damn it. We'll talk about that another day.
Do the roadmap on that one. You can watch 1 and then jump to here, or you can watch 2 and 1 and jump to here, or skip those, just go to 4 or 5, or go 4 or 5 to 6, 6 to 4, 3 to 9. I can't.
You need an abacus to navigate the Halloween canonical timeline, and a fucking DeLorean with a flux capacitor. I do want to touch on the chat again because it did blow up recently. So Eric Ridgway first off just says hello, Ian. So hello Ridgway. Shannon Scream says you're not too terrible. Thank you so much for watching, Shannon. I'm so glad you tuned in. Scott Ellis says, as someone that suffered debilitating injuries, it is both a testament to Reeves' character that his Superman was so good, just as his charity work was so good.
Yes,
well, absolutely. That is absolutely true. I think we all have the utmost respect for Christopher Reeves as an artist and as a humanitarian.
Oh, Village. I will say this: if you love Christopher Reeve, watch Village of the Damned.
Oh yeah,
John Carpenter remake.
Good Carpenter.
And I will say this: in his later years, he did a fantastic remake of Rear Window, where he played
made for TV.
It was a made for TV movie where he played the Jimmy Stewart character. So it's Christopher Reeve now in his chair and everything, and he's acting and he directed it too. I mean, it's an incredible movie.
He was also great in Smallville, and he made the cameo in Smallville as well.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Smallville. I gotta say, Smallville has a lot of my favorite Superman moments on screen. Definitely my favorite Lex Luthor and Michael Rosenbaum's incredible.
Oh, Rosenbaum,
yeah. I'm sure we'll talk more about it a little bit later, but like, yeah, Smallville is by far, if not my favorite, right close up there with anything Superman related.
Cool.
Oh,
Is anybody
definitely.
watching the new Superman show in the CW?
I haven't seen it. I haven't. Yeah.
I've
Oh,
tried
no.
it. I've tried it, but like the thing is that I don't like when they have when they involve the kids, when they do like the super kids and whatever the case may be. And that's
Yeah.
basically what this is trying to do. And it's like I don't want that. Like I
Yeah,
don't
well,
really
that's what's big in the comics right now. My kids were collecting the Super Sons, which is a remake of a comic
Yeah.
that I've worked back in the 70s that I actually still have laying around, where it's like the counterculture, Batman and Superman's son, and they're like anti-superhero antics.
Oh,
But today
interesting.
they're sons of, you know, Superman and Batman, and that's a comic series that's recent, that's good. And actually, DC just replaced. They have a timeline where they've replaced Superman with his son. He's the new Superman. So
did they go with Connor Kent or they go with
No. His son with Lois, Jonathan. Connor's a clone.
the clone?
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's where that son stuff is coming from. It's lucrative. It keeps the you know, the entire thing youngish.
Oh,
you know.
sure. Yeah.
And it's just like when they used to bring in a baby on a sitcom. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
But I do like, I mean, like in regards to that though, I do like Connor Kent on the Titan show.
Yeah, I love that character.
The
I like
Titan
Connor.
show, the Titan show is fantastic.
I
you
haven't
know.
seen that, but
Me being a huge Robin Dick Grayson fan,
right,
it's just up there.
that's cool. Good. I'm glad.
I'm a Nightwing fan myself.
Same
But
here.
I do. Not to sound like a broken record, I do want to touch up on the chat. It's just going and
Oh,
going
okay.
today.
Yeah, so,
Do want to give everyone their love. So Gold's Code says Superman 5 could have used Michael Dudikoff and Steve James. Everything can use Michael Dudikoff.
Everything.
Steve James
Your breakfast cereal could use Michael Dudikoff. I mean, that's the man's amazing.
and it would be
Eric
better.
James is literally my
Yes,
favorite
exactly.
human being that has ever walked the planet. Steve James, it does not get cooler. Like there's James Dean, and way above him is Steve James.
Boy.
Oh, I don't, wait, hold on now.
Right, that's
Slow
right.
down.
James Dean's got nothing on Steve James. He's the second place James.
Uh,
Gold's Code also says that would have been a true canon film. Retro Fiend Radio says Gold's Code knows what's up. Okay, there's a little love going on there. Scott Ellis says he was invincible in spirit. I don't know where that ties into now. I'm kind of lost in here.
I think like
But,
Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves. probably.
Oh, Invincible. Duh. I'm reading it.
Yeah.
My dyslexic eyes, I read that as
Yeah.
invisible. Even though I said it right. Tom Trudell says, I feel out of place. I've only seen the first one. Gold's Code says, and bring back Buster Rhymes for the Halloween.
Oh,
Jeez.
That's pretty good, Gold's Code. I got to give it to you.
trick or treat.
Eric Ridgway says, tag Farmer Clink, best director I've ever had / only.
Eric, no, I appreciate Eric. Actually used to act in some of my movies back in the day. So yes, definitely shout out to Eric. You're a great actor, true character, man. Thanks for tuning in.
Kyle says he is watching, and he says it's actually really good despite the kids. And he's referring to, of course, the new Superman and Lois show on the CW, which I will tune in on.
Yeah.
Tune in.
I've
to
seen
soon.
images. I don't think he looks like Superman, and I know this sounds very
Yeah.
catty of me and
No.
stupid, but Reeves looked like
Yeah.
Superman. Brandon Routh looked like Superman. Cavill,
Yeah,
I love
Yeah,
him
Cavill,
as,
I love
and you
him,
know what I
yeah.
love about him? His
Yeah.
Superman does not complain once. That would like to
Yeah.
me that was the best part of, and tons of people can have opinions about Batman versus Superman, but
Right.
I loved him. His Superman was like, you know what, guys, I'm saving this world. Deal with it. And I loved that. That was like, that's my superheroes. I love it. No crying superheroes.
Yeah.
No Spider-Man 2. Wah, wah, wah. I don't want to be a superhero. Well, put up your tights. Nobody asked you to save the world. All right. Just, if you're going to be a superhero, be a superhero. All right. And that's what I love about that.
yeah,
Alright.
definitely. No crying to Yoda.
No.
So we're running a little behind. Normally we'd be already talking about, starting to talk about what we'd be doing with Superman by now. I don't want to completely ignore the Snyderverse. Is there anything, general hot takes about that. Obviously we love Henry Cavill. Henry, you got me saying it wrong now. Henry Cavill. But
Did I say it wrong? Sorry.
I really think you could still build from it. I don't think you need to like throw the baby out with the bathwater. I will say that about the Snyderverse, and I don't know. Then ask for your thoughts. If you guys have any hot takes on it.
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like the Snyderverse, to me needs to continue. I mean, it's probably the best compelling Superman story of any sort that we're gonna get, in the near future, I think. I mean, obviously I'm not Nostradamus. I can't tell you what we're gonna get later, but I'm just saying if track record is any indication of what we're gonna get, like it's not gonna be good.
All right. Well, I think you can always do better. I think Superman's an optimistic character and Batman is more of a pessimistic character, and that's the nature of the two characters.
Yeah.
So you should kind of figure out a way to translate that in a modern way. And there's a ton of different Superman comics and stories that you can draw from. I think what Marvel has done well is that they've picked and chosen what to bring forth in each character. It's not exactly the same character as it was from the comics. Black Panther was ahead of its time, but even the version today that is not the exact same Black Panther from the comics. So you really do need, and I guess Marvel had a team of people constantly going through the comics and picking and choosing what would work and what wouldn't. And I think eventually DC will get to that point. They've obviously been successful with Wonder Woman, and the Captain Marvel Shazam movie I enjoyed, and I'm sure the new one will do well. If they can figure Flashpoint out, they can reset the multiverse. And you could have as many Superman as you had Batman, in a modern way. You just have to be able to translate what works with the character, but you also have to understand the character. You're right. You don't want a weepy, depressed Superman. Superman's an uplifting, positive type guy. He's almost too optimistic in a lot of ways in the past. But you want to translate that today, and I think it can be done. I don't think DC has put their best foot forward when it comes to Superman, but people are very stuck with certain characters. I mean, it's easy to do a Daredevil TV show because Daredevil's not that popular or not stuck in people's minds. If you mess with Superman, people freak out. You mess with Batman, people freak out. So that's the problem with the larger characters that DC has. You go too far from the material and they lose it. Now they have a Black Superman movie in development. I might as well bring that up. And people are going to say they turned Superman black when, in fact, they do have other characters in the Superman family that represent Krypton that already exist in the comics. So I think I would like them to show the entire Superman world, kind of like what they do in the CW, only make it, top level cinematic. So the Superman story has always been more than Superman, Lois, Perry, and Jimmy. It's always been bigger than that. And the parents. I mean, you have all different types of Superman, all different types of Krypton stories. You have one-offs that they've done that have done well. They could do a one-off Superman movie, separate from everything. Maybe the Black Superman movie will be like that with the Calvin Ellis Superman. I think they're going with him. He was president. He's almost like an Obama ripoff Superman character in the comics. Yeah. Because he's president and he's Superman. But whatever they do with it, they need to just expand it from what it's been and try and bring it, into people's lives today. I think it can be done. I just don't think they've really tried yet. And I think Man of Steel, majority of Man of Steel I enjoyed. I wasn't convinced on the ending because I thought it was a pessimistic way for Superman to get out of it. Where I see Superman, I always see Superman as, Superman's power to me is that people always think he's going to use his strength, but he's actually very smart. That's what I always like about the comics. He always uses his brain to get out of things because people expected him to lift everything and pull out of it. So I would like more of that. Show Superman as an intellectual too. Batman's not the only genius.
There's also a lot of villains I like to see explore more villains, like Brainiac. Give me Brainiac. Give me Bizarro.
Well, Kevin Smith wrote a great Brainiac script.
Exactly.
And I read it. That movie would have cost, he said it would have cost like $1 million a minute.
Yeah.
But it was a great script. So you're right. I want to see more than just the Joker. Batman has a full line. Superman has a full line. The Flash has a full line, which you've seen on the CW. There's just wider spectrum that they're not showing all the time. And I think it's because they're nervous. I think the suits get in a room and they go, well, let's see. Lex Luthor worked the last 4 times. So I guess that's what we're going with because it works. So
Honey Nut Cheerios sells. We're gonna give them Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah.
No.
Whereas you could expand it and make it and keep it interesting. You really can. Marvel's proven it. I mean, these TV shows on Disney Plus, they work pretty well for TV.
Yeah.
You can love them or hate them, but they work really well. And they're expanding the universe by introducing all these characters. And DC has just as many, little, Mr. Mix-Pickle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they got so many characters they can trot out.
Yeah.
So they need to take a little risk and it'll pay off. I thought Shazam, like I said, Superman was supposed to show up in Shazam. That was the big moment at the end. And now they're saying that he's going to be in the second movie. So that's progress. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is this all right? Henry Cavill's going to be in the second Shazam movie?
That's what they said. They said he's going to, because it was such a big part of how excited Captain Marvel was to meet Superman. They wrote him into the second film. I don't know if it's going to be a big part, but it's going to be at least a cameo. So you'll finally get to see him.
And of course, by Captain Marvel, you mean Shazam for them in the chat. Like, you up on that because that's the way the chat can be sometimes.
Well, he's Captain Marvel.
Which it was originally Captain Marvel. Of course,
you want to tell that story?
We have to save that one for another time because we've barely gotten into our pitches and the chat is going crazy. But Captain Marvel fans, we love you, and the Shazam fans. But
starring Sinbad.
I will say also though, Alton, I wish you were writing for these new Superman movies because your understanding of the character runs so deep and the genre and your love of it runs so deep that like,
that's awesome.
Oh wow,
there it is.
Cool.
That's awesome.
So in 1979, when I was hanging out in the bookstore still, because they hadn't invented the internet, they were putting out the artist work before you do the movie. They had to draw it before the guys make it. And I had the original artist work from Star Wars, which I'm not showing because we're not doing Star Wars, where Luke was a girl in one shot. I'll talk to you about that off the air.
I have heard that.
Yeah, I actually have the picture.
Wow.
But this is the artist work before they shot the movie for Superman. So I have it's a bunch of lithographs, and they came together. And I actually had them hanging up in my room back then. That's Krypton.
Nice.
You can see it.
Way better than just a white room of icicles.
Oh, that's cool.
I like the icicle shit of the Donner design. I think there is something about like, Williams Superman score and that ice thing, like they fit together the way Burton, Elfman score. Oh yeah, that's so good. I had my dad made prints when I was a kid growing up. I had these big Superman 2 prints, I think.
Oh, that is so cool.
Box mount. Oh yeah.
Yeah, before they did the actual, special effects and the scene and they looked at the script.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
This is what
that logo is so iconic.
Yep.
So I do want to touch on the chat again.
Go ahead, I'll just hold up the picture so you can see.
Yeah. So while he's holding up the pictures, Gold's Code says, yeah, Steve James. Gold's Code says, you guys rock. Catch you next week. I'll be back. Retrofeed Radio says Bizarro World movie. I am definitely into that. I will kind of get to that in a minute. That is sort of similar to my pitch. Eric Ridgway says Justice League was a huge mistake and they should have done more work building the characters, which I would agree. They need to involve Superman way more than they did. Well, the timing of it, I could definitely dig that. Ooh, that's a great shot too, that picture. Eric Ridgway also says, I just think they need committed actors to characters and not God only knows how many different actors playing the same character. I feel you. I think there's room for the multiverse, though. I really think if it's done right, and if they're both done out of love and respect, oh, that is good. Then it could be good.
I do think the Flash, we're getting Keaton back. That's going to do something to the. I think that's going to really solidify the idea of the multiverse. I mean, a bunch of them have already done it, but now, but bringing in Keaton, now you're bringing older generation. And the newer generation. I mean, that's a movie that's going to unite a lot because I mean we're all excited about Keaton like no other. I have students who are going, who, huh? It's like,
wow.
You just want to like cry. But you know, I was in the classroom and I look at the news. Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman. Ah, you know?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm a kid
you know,
again.
And I think that multiverse idea is really going to work with that, along with whatever they're doing with the Spider-Man idea. You know, just that concept of, well, now we can go anywhere, right? You know, now we can have, you know, this universe, that universe. You know, you can go any movie you want to do now.
Right.
I think the movies and everything, like I said, with all the retcons and, you know, sequels, and this is based off of T1 and 2, you know, all this stuff. It's like they're making multiverse already. They don't even know it. They might as well just embrace it, you know. The way they do these like weird sequels and reboots so many times.
Yeah, Laurie is gonna pop out of a closet and be like, "Oh, I am your mom," and Daniel Harris is, you know, I had to go to the FBI, you know, witness protection. Sorry.
So if
that's so cool, Alton. Yeah, that's so
I
cool.
could, you know, if I was in charge of the Superman, you know, property at DC and Warner Brothers, if I had to say any skin in the game, the way I see it is, since we wanted 5 movies before and we didn't get that many, like we wanted a 5th, I would aim for like a 5-part Superman series, right? And that's completely like any Justice League movies don't count. And this is pretty much the way I would do any like DC character, because they're all like Flash, Aquaman, you know, Batman, like they're all that good. They all deserve like a 5-part thing. And then you have the other movies, and give me like a 5-part Justice League too. But the things I think, like, you know, Mickey, you were touching on this a little bit. Like, I want to see a lot of the things that have not been seen on the silver screen. We've not seen a good Lex Luthor on the silver screen. So, like, first thing out of the gate, I'm sorry, but I would have to fire Jesse Eisenberg. I think he's a really good actor, but he's just so unfairly cast as Lex Luthor. Yeah, it's just not right. The whole character was conceived wrong. The writing was terrible. Like,
you don't like Hackman?
Lex Luthor, you know, Hackman did Hackman at the time, you know. He's not playing Lex Luthor, he's playing Gene Hackman. And he's good at playing Gene Hackman. I just would like to have seen Lex Luthor in that movie. Or maybe someone willing to shave their head, or at least wear a competent fucking bald cap. I think that's integral to Lex Luthor. He has to have.
This is the weirdest thing about that movie of Gene Hackman.
I know,
he shaved his head and he's wearing a wig. It's the weirdest thing. Just be bald.
No, it's a bald cap under that wig. That's not a real shaved head.
Oh, I thought he really shaved his head, and that was just a wig. But it's still weird. Yeah.
That's like Steve Romero refusing to shave the mustache. It's like a famous refusal.
Oh yeah. Let's not forget that John Cryer is Lex Luthor in the Supergirl TV show currently. John Cryer.
Love John Cryer, but he's not Lex either. Lex Luthor, first of all, I see him as like the Batman of villains. He's very, very smart. He's definitely not afraid to like give a speech at a dinner party at his own fucking house, like he is in Batman v Superman. And here's what I would do. I would use either the Phantom Zone, probably the Phantom Zone, because it exists outside of the space-time continuum. So for some reason, like Brainiac, say, sets a trap, gets Superman to go into the Phantom Zone. Then when he's there, they're fucking shit up on Earth. Superman comes out of the Phantom Zone at a different point in space-time. And now Lex Luthor is played by Billy Zane, and he's the president of the United States. And he's got the mech suit. And like, I want like a really ambitious set of Superman things. And a lot of it I would have leaning into the whole New Krypton. And a lot of it being about like building, you know, a relationship with the bottled city of Kandor, and, you know, bringing in like the larger Superman stuff. Like, you know, there's a lot of really cool lore that they never do. And I would do a fucking proper Doomsday, and the 5th film, the 4th maybe, would be a proper Doomsday versus Superman bare knuckle brawl. It would be an event where Superman dies.
Death of Superman in the comics was such a long event. You know, when they kind of wasted it, the way they killed him and brought him back with the Snyderverse, I was like, that by itself is a trilogy or 4 or 5 movies. Just the Death of Superman storyline, because even after he dies, then you have all the other Supermen. You have the clone Superboy and you know, the Steel and all those Supermen come. That's a movie all by itself. So there's a lot of stuff they're leaving on the table, which they don't have to. I mean, it worked in the comics. It can work again in the films.
I could take even if you're doing 5 like Superman movies, right? And again, I want it all interconnected. Bring like Flash in this one and Cyborg in that one and this, and, you know, give everyone 5 movies and let them all appear in each other's stuff. I could even take a trilogy of like, you know, a Supergirl movie, a Superboy movie, a Steel movie, you know, League of Supermen movie. I mean, shit, I could probably take even 5 of those too.
There's plenty of stories. I mean, they really.
I always thought that too. I always
Yeah.
thought, why didn't they pair up Supergirl, the Helen Slater Supergirl, with Christopher Reeves?
Yeah. They worry, man. They really do. If you look at all the superhero stuff previously, before Marvel started crossing over and everybody started getting together, it was just like a standalone hero. Boom, that's it. And then that's why they only thought, well, one movie, what are you going to do? You do 3 movies of that and people are bored with it because it's the same character. They don't interact with anybody outside of themselves who's super. So it's kind of like that opened the door. The combining of characters opened the door, and now the multiverse has opened it even wider. So I think stories you'll start to see, Chris, the stories you want to see. They just have to break that first barrier with Superman. And he's the granddaddy of all superheroes, and they're nervous. He's the franchise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're nervous.
For me,
they don't
I
mind messing with the Flash or Aquaman. You know, you can do anything with them. Nobody's going to complain. But Superman, he's sacred. You know, it's very hard.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, I would have liked, I mean, I loved Smallville so much. So I would have loved to have seen a proper movie with Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum and just like, you know, there was so much more left that you could have done, and it could have been done in a movie. But again, I mean, you know, you just left it where it is. And I still think like, I mean, even in the newer, you know, CW shows and everything else like that, when Welling came back and then you had Brandon Routh as Kingdom Come Superman and stuff like that, I thought it was so cool. I thought, like, to me, it just, that's what I wanted. I wanted, like, you know, give me that.
Well, that's the funny thing. I know I'm going to let you guys talk. I know I talk too much, but I always felt like the animated DC movies were great. And if they could have taken some of those people and brought them over to the live action, storytelling wise, I think it would have been perfect. They really knew how to tell a story with those animated films. They're the king of animated films as far as superhero, you know,
hands down. The Flashpoint animated film alone is awesome.
It's brilliant.
No question.
And Thomas Wayne.
Yep.
Well, and one of the first real big great animated series in film history was The Adventures of Superman, the Max Fletcher cartoon from the early day, which is incredible animation for the time. I mean, they really put money into that.
Yeah,
I believe that's also the first time Superman flew, right? Was in the Max Fletcher cartoons?
Yeah, because the other times they did it as a
leaping
film,
a building.
He just leaps. Yeah, he just leaps. But that was the first time Superman could fly because we could animate it. He could actually fly through the air. So
yeah.
The only thing I always was wondering is where does Superman belong? Because I think we've all had this debate as you know, comic book fans. Is DC movies or is DC television? If you're when it comes out of the comic books, and I would argue, for me, it's always been, I think they've been better at television. I think DC world and television has always been better. You know, I'm sure people will scold me, but Lois and Clark was a really good show. I thought Dean Cain was actually I thought Dean Cain was actually really good Superman. And give him credit because he was the first one to take the mantle after Christopher Reeve, you know, and that's always hard to do. You know,
count the 2 actors who played Superboy, but
Superboy,
But you know, to take that after Christopher Reeve ended up, you know, in the tragedy that happened, for him to you know, even step in there. I mean, that's
well, Dean Cain started it before the tragedy, I think.
Oh, was it before the tragedy? Okay,
I think the show started around 93, 94.
Yeah, because Christopher Reeves was on Smallville, so he cameoed on Smallville.
Okay, so I mean, just the idea of, you know, for me, I would want a Superman TV show more so than I would want another Superman movie, just because it's always seemed to work. And yet the newest one that I've seen clips from, I haven't really fully watched it. I'm still not sold, and so I don't know if it's just. But honestly, and this might be a little bit of a tangent, but I just think we're in such a weird, this isn't movie, it's not TV, it's not anything anymore. It's just whatever it is. It's on our screen. I just don't know they've gotten the formula down just right yet. And I don't know when, but that would be my pitch. I would want a Superman TV show.
I would be in favor of that if it was done with the level of care that HBO seemed to put into their Watchmen series.
Yeah,
You know, it was like an HBO show. I could get into that. And I guess it's owned by Warner, so that's possible. But anyway, the chat's blowing up, excuse me. So Kyle says he wants Crypto, which I believe is Superman's super dog.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes, I want that.
Expand-
I want Crypto too.
expand
You get it in
universe.
Titans. In Titans, he's with Connor.
It's
I
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alton,
It's
I
good.
remember Crypto from that book you've got. I remember Crypto. That's where I remember Crypto from.
So Kyle also says that Welling will not put on the costume, which is a
Yeah, he
shame.
refuses.
Yes.
I bet he looks
Yes.
snazzy in it, but I do respect that for him because he was on the No Tights, No Flight show.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No
that's
Tights.
It works for
that's-
him.
Yeah, hey, you know, good for you, man. Like, be the only guy to turn it down. Fucking, you're in a league of your own. And then Kyle also says, Ian, watch the fucking show. It's good. LOL.
All right. Listen,
I'll check it out.
I'll look at it. Simmer down out there. All right.
And also, Eric Ridgway just said Smallville knocked it out of the park with writing and casting, which I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
My favorite Lois Lane, maybe ever. No disrespect to
Erica
Margot Kidder, who
Durance.
I love Margot Kidder, but
Yeah.
yeah, Erica Durance was incredible. So I mean, I think we all in spirit have the same ideas for Superman. You know, stay true to the character, expand the lore, lean into what it is. Don't be afraid of Brainiac. Give us a better Doomsday with real bone claw, you know. The question is, you know,
no Chippendale villains.
I
No
think
Chippendale
Ian-
villains.
I think Ian, you want it on TV because you don't feel confident in their ability to get it right on film. Is that what you're saying?
I do. I think that they've proven a track record it works on TV, and yet film they've just never got to. And this might be it might be controversial, but I think it's because Superman, by its nature, if you're thinking like a movie, right, you've got to have challenges, and I think audiences are too smart. I think the issue with Superman, and at least this has been for me, is how do you beat the most invincible thing in the universe? What you know, and you can always say kryptonite. Okay, we can all
Magic.
say kryptonite, you know, but whereas Batman is going to have that, at the end of the day, he's still human. Where you know, Spider-Man can only have a certain amount of senses that he can do to a point. You know, I always argue Superman. Just, you know, here comes when I thought of Superman versus Batman. Well, shoot the laser beams out of your eyes. I know you can do that. I've read the comic books. You can do that. Where's the challenge to Superman? And that's where I think like Smallville was great, right? It was the teenage years where he isn't Superman yet. We're getting to that point, but you know, where do you go with it when it is Superman? That's just a challenge I think that they're always going to have, especially in a filmatic world.
What about this? Because of the multiverse series, and there is a series now already on Superman, which Kyle again says to watch, says it's good. Could you see a series going on and a movie series at the same time? And
Sure.
could you see like a, you know?
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Well, studios have been wanting to do that for years. I mean,
Well, that's, you know, that's
the
what I
Walking
think.
Dead.
That's
Well,
what-
the Walking Dead, but they haven't been able to do it because of the pandemic. But it would have been interesting to see, could the show continue with Rick Grimes on the big screen and the show on AMC? You know, who knows?
I mean, that's another thing. Like, I mean, we talk about expanding the universe, and yeah, you know, that is the issue. Superman's invincible. What can kill him? What can whatever? And we've done the kryptonite story so long, you know, so many times, whatever the case may be, that I mean, we forget about his difficulty with magic, and we never put a character that, you know, possesses it or can do something with it. I don't care. Give me Zatanna. I'm like, give me there's, you know, give me somebody that can possess the power of magic a little bit.
Yeah.
You could team him up. Team him up with some other people. I mean, obviously,
Ugh.
we saw the teases of the Legion of Doom. So
They're working
I
on a
mean-
Justice League Dark movie.
Yeah,
oh, I want
exactly.
that so bad. Yeah.
Constantine. Oh, come on.
Yeah. I think the way to put Superman in danger is with, you know, good writing. You know, I think if you're
Yeah.
smart, you get smart
gotta
people to think
challenge
about it. Yeah, you throw a
Yeah.
couple smart people from the animation team here and a couple smart people from the animation team here, there. And you know, you have a TV universe and a movie universe, and make them cooperate a little bit. Don't make them, you know, like, oh, we're doing the same thing you're doing.
Yeah, they're separate,
Like
separate
like
things.
the comics, they had to hold off on Superman and Lois's wedding because they wanted to do it on Lois and Clark first, and they're like, okay, we'll wait a year.
Yeah.
And that's when they came up with the idea of the death of Superman, actually.
Well, that's what made Superman II so incredible to me. I mean, you know, there's the great part about that movie is when he gives up the power of being Superman,
Right.
and
But
you know
for-
that scene where he's in the restaurant and he wants to save the day, but he can't. He can't do anything. He's a human. You know that
I gotta
that
say,
worked.
I don't believe in the chamber though. Like this chamber is
Yeah.
designed to take your power. You could have been gold kryptonite. Could have been gold kryptonite is all I'm gonna say about that. But we are almost out of time. So I do want to remind everyone to stay tuned to Fandom Spotlight. You know, they have a lot of cool live shows and stuff coming up. There's always the cosplay show. Next week we will be back here with Terminator. Until then, guys, is there anything that you have coming up that you guys want to plug? Anything you got coming in the works?
I just finished Bunny Goes to Space Kickstarter. My comic Blackjack. Blackjack is my grounded science fiction based superhero. 1 week he can fly and then he can't. Another week he's super strong and then he's not. So he takes a trip across the country to find other people that are like him. It's like Unbreakable meets X-Files.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Blackjack 3, the third issue of that, it'll be out next month. And then I have Witches of Westchester coming, Werewolves of Brooklyn after that, and then Vampires of New Jersey to finish out the year.
Nice.
Alton stays
Busy,
more
busy, busy.
productive. You stay more productive than almost anyone I know, my man. You
And I
always
am
have a million
working on a
things going
film treatment of Vampires in New Jersey to shoot with our director friend.
Hey, I look pretty vampirish.
cool.
I'm just saying, if you need any older looking vampires,
Yeah, I'll
you
talk to
know,
you.
I'll be
We'll
there.
talk. Professor, you're a professor of film, real quick.
Yeah. I teach film classes. Yeah. Mhm.
We should talk. I got my PhD 2 years ago.
Oh, awesome. I love all.
Not
of
in
this.
film,
Yeah,
unfortunately, but we should
Oh,
talk.
I love
So
this. Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
talk to you offline.
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
I always surround myself with much smarter and much more educated people than myself.
Nah, you the man,
But
Chris.
speaking of Mickey, Ian, do you guys have anything coming up you want to plug? Any appearances? Anything going down? Any projects?
Just tune into our podcast version of this on Hollow 9 Network. You tune in. We do the same things. Some of these will be on there as well. So just tune in on Hollow 9 Network.
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo that right now until we start playing again. The band, you know, that's what I'm doing. I am trying to work on some stuff at home and stuff like that and see where we can go with that. But right now, just tune into Hollow 9 Network, and you can hear me there.
Well, I'm
Cool.
very much looking forward to seeing Rick Barth in the line, complete with my man Mickey Torres live soon.
Hopefully.
I myself don't really have much going on. Doing Wizard World panels. Stay tuned to that. Stay tuned to Phantom Spotlight. Stay tuned to Hollow 9 Live Action Media. Follow me at Pop Culture Punk on Instagram. And until then, you know, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and keep analog alive. And then we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.